Hello everyone, I'm going to be showing in this video how to take a model, Genesis 2 model from Daz3d over to 3dsMax in using FBX and Alembic format. Now you might only be interested in FBX, in which case just get some value of this too, but really what I'm trying to do is how do I transfer the materials from the FBX file over to the Alembic file, and that's where things get a little crazy, at least where the Alembic standard is as of now. I'm recording this in the last day of 2016, and so who knows what the Alembic file is going to bring in the future. Hopefully it brings something a little bit better so we don't have to do this Mickey Mouse that I'm going to show you, because this is a little crazy. Now the techniques I'm going to teach you here I learned from a thread that I started in a forum called Applying Textures to Alembic File, and this is from Autodesk forum, and this guy here helped me out tremendously. His name is Alfred, and what I'd suggest doing is looking for this forum post in the Autodesk forums for 3dsMax and how he helped me. Now there's a video in here, it's 16.5 minutes long, going through the whole process of issues I had with the FBX file, lots of black texture and things were disappeared, and he helped me understand all that. So what I'm going to do here is just do some of that again, just so it's on YouTube, so it might be a little bit more readily available and seeable. But what I did here is I really like the shirt and pants and shoes and stuff from this character, or this set of clothing for the Genesis 2 male. And so I'm doing this when they're having a big special right now, so things are much less expensive right at this very point in time. So it's a good time to be doing this. And so I started out here in Daz, in Daz here, and just have my character with the pants and the shirt, and he's just going through this very simple pose of that to that, just so we can see some movement, nothing extraordinary. Now I'm doing that using a plugin called Keymate, which is not included. You do have to pay for that, but you can still animate. It's just still not as nice because here you get you get keyframes and stuff, which is really nice. But anyway, that's not the point. And then I use the FBX part of export and an Alembic export. So what I did for the FBX, just real quickly switch over to that, is I'll just make another version here and just show you the settings I used. I used 2014 binary, which was I thought would be the best because it's the newest. And I just select figures and morphs, and then this stuff for the options there, just as all the defaults. Now, just so you know too, that if you're going to export morphs, like say for example the shirt has some morphs in it that are not used, but if I want to export them, what you got to do is you got to change the export rules, and you got to make sure this number is there. So watch. So if I do this, now this is from something I had before. I'll just delete this one here. And I got to type in shirt underscore 21184, and that's it. And then if I click export and then I accept, all these not used will go to yes. Okay, so it will export those, and so I believe that's all you need to do to use them in FBX format in Max or wherever else you happen to be going to. But that export rule thing was something I learned from another video, and I just thought that was very useful, and if that helps you, great. So anyway, that's how I exported my FBX, but I didn't even include any of those extra morphs. I didn't do any of that because I don't care about the morphs, because I'm going to go for the Alembic. I just need the textures. Okay, so I exported that like that, and then for the Alembic I did export. Now to get this is not by default part of Daz Studio as of yet, but for this I'll just show you the settings I use because they're so simple. This, and this. Preserve subdivision surfaces didn't work for me, so I just didn't use it. So that's all I did. So I accepted that and exported ABC file. Now that plugin, by the way, you can be found just in Daz by going to Alembic, and you'll find this exporter right here, and that's it. So that plugin there. The problem with the Alembic system is it does not transfer material IDs properly. In fact, it supposedly only transfers one material ID per region or something goofy. So here's the problem. So I've got the FBX and the ABC files, so I'm just going to start over here. Now you'll notice that I took the time to deal with the eyes here. And the eyes are actually kind of hard to get because there's like 5 or 6 materials that make that up. And I got lucky. So if we do a close-up of my eye, I'll show you that it actually looks pretty good. You can see the little blood vessels in there. I think I got things fairly accurate. I clearly need a smooth in there. So I'll just do that and we'll just see. Well, something needs to happen there. Well, anyway, it's close enough. It's close enough for me. If I come back out here again, it all looks really, really good. So if you need more detail, you can just do a mesh smooth on some of these materials if you need less polygons in there, or more polygons for more smoothing. So I'm not going to show you the eyes. I'll show you how tough they are to figure out, and because of the different materials. But I really want to show you the process just on a few of these things. So let me just start here with a new file. Okay, and then I'm going to import the FBX. And I'm just going to use the standard default things. I don't have any cameras or anything like that in the other things, so I'll wait till it's loading. Okay, so that loaded in, so that's the FBX. And before I load in the Alembic, what I like to do is just open the material editor. Now I have it in this larger mode here, so you can see you just can hit X or just options this to cycle through the different sizes. So I just want the bigger one here. And you might be in the slate material editor mode too. Either one's fine, doesn't matter. I'm just a little more used to this older one. So anyway, for here, I'm going to take the eyedropper tool and I'm just going to select the skin. Now this is the skin for the entire model. It's not the shirt, it's not the pants, it's not the shoes. This is the skin. And you'll see here that this is made up of 28 different materials. Now the Genesis 3 model, they've condensed this quite a bit, so I don't know if there was 16 or something there. A lot easier to do this process with. But the Genesis 2 had all these different maps. A little crazy. But anyway, I'm also going to do this, and I'm going to go down and select a shirt. I'm going to go here and select the pants. And then I'm going to go here and select the shoes. Okay. Now you'll see here is multi-mat 0, 1, 2, 3. Now I'm also going to duplicate this. So I'm going to click and drag, click and drag, click and drag, click and drag. And then I'm just going to go change these and add an ABC at the end. And that'll just make it a little easier. Okay. And so that's that. So let me just get out of this and make this a little bit bigger. And I'm going to go in and import the Alembic. So import Alembic right there. And those are the only two options. Now it comes in scaled off. It's a little too big. So I'm just going to shrink them down. And the exact scaling difference there is 2.54. So it's clearly inches to centimeters conversion. So I guess I should have fixed that in the export. Oh well, let me make them a little smaller. Okay, so it doesn't matter. Let's just move him over here. So, it's bugging me. Just shrink it down a little more. There. Close enough. So what I thought would have been really, really obvious is to then take this material. Okay, remember it's just duplicated, and just drag it over and drop it on. I thought that would work, but then I get this crazy face, and the entire body's crazy here, and just you can't see it because of the shirt and pants. So I'm going to do this. This is for the shirt, so I'm going to click and drag that on the shirt. Oh, that came out somewhat close. I'm going to click and drag the pants on, and I'm going to do the shoes. Okay. So let me just show you the process for the shirt, and then we'll do a few things on the body, and then you can go and fix the rest on your own. So if I go to the shirt here, the biggest trick that that the gentleman at Autodesk showed me was Alfred. What he showed me was to you got to figure out the material IDs, because the material IDs are really what get messed up on this, and that's probably because the Alembic format cannot store them. So I don't know. Either when this thing exports them, or when they get pulled into Max, it puts them in some order. I don't know exactly what the problem is, but you have to go and kind of fix this. And hopefully the Alembic format will include those material IDs in future releases. That would be really nice and make all kinds of problems go away. So what we deal with is the trick is add and edit poly, and then go into the polygon selection mode. So once I go in here, I'm just dealing with the shirt object, because that's what it's attached to, this shirt here. And I cannot select any other objects. So if that gets you confused, just remember you got to get off this mode, then you can click other objects, okay? So I'm going back into the shirt. I'm going to go back into polygon selection mode, and you want to get these windows here so you can still see the ID here, yet you can still select this here. So you want to close down these three windows if they're open. So they're all, they don't look like this. Okay, so that way we can see. So what in this mode we can go and we can select individual polygons. Okay, kind of nice. And what we want to do is we want to look at the material ID here. So in our Alembic, remember all these four are on our Alembic model. I'm going to be in here, and I'm going to go say, okay, material ID 2. Well, first of all, I want to be in the shirt. Here's the shirt. Material ID 2 better have the base shirt in it. So material ID, guess what, has the base of the shirt. I'm going to go now to the arms, and the arms are in ID 1. Oh, I got the shirt button thread. So the thread that's inside the buttons is actually in ID 1. I want the arms. So I'm going to take the arms, click and drag, and let go, and hit swap, and then swap them. So now you can tell the buttons actually have the thread now in them, the white thread, and then the arms are actually correct. Now if I go into the actual button, the button is ID 4, button. If I click on the thread, I'm on the thread 3, thread. So my shirt's done. And that's all you have to do for all this. So if we just really quickly go down to the pants, okay, now I got to get out of this mode again. And now that I'm done with that, I can get rid of this edit poly, by the way. I'm going to get rid of the edit poly, go down to the pants, add an edit poly, go into selection mode, polygon selection mode, and look at the actual pant material. That's ID 1. And now if I'm in the pants here, pants base is ID 1. We're good. The buckle, however, or the belt should be in 2, and the belt is in 3, and then the buckle is obviously reversed 2. So these two need to be reversed, because if I click on this, you'll see that it's in ID 3, where my buckle is actually in ID 2. It should be in 3. So I'm just going to swap these two. And that's it. That's all you do for this. Now the shoes are fine. I'm going to worry about those. Those came in okay. But if I actually get out of selection mode now, and then delete the edit poly, because that slows things down, and if I actually hide the pants and hide the shirt, you'll see that things are really, really goofed up. Let's just hide these for the fun of it there. And what you do here is you just got to go through the same thing. The problem is with this material, there's so many IDs, and this is just a game of just swapping these things out. And it would be so much easier if I could grab and drag this down so that I could see 20 at a time instead of 10. But I can't. So you're going to see here how annoying this is. But once you've done this, you should only have to do this once. And I'm just going to do a few of these so it doesn't take forever. The hardest thing is the eyes, because the eyes have like 5 or 6 different materials to the eye. And I tried doing a tutorial showing it, and it just takes too long, and it's a little bit of guesswork because I don't know my eye anatomy. But you can always figure it out. I'll show you how you kind of get some of the materials from this guy's eye, which you're going to delete anyway if you're doing this process. So the chest is obviously wrong, so I'm going to select the whole thing. I'm going to go and add an edit poly again, and go into polygon mode. This should be real obvious by now. We're going to select the chest. And the chest should be an ID 28. So let's go down to there and just see if there's a torso. Torso is probably the better word. So I'm just going to go torso and drop that down into 28. And then I'm going to swap these so that I don't lose the inner mouth. Okay, so now the chest looks okay. The torso, I'm going to go to the nipples, should be in 19. And wow, the nipples are right here, and then there's where it's got to go. So the nipples should be here. So I'm just going to click and drag, swap, and now the nipples look okay. So now we're going to go here to the arm, and this is ID 8. Okay, see that? And the only other way around this may be to actually be to switch this but I think the better idea is to do what we're doing here, so you can actually save the materials, because these might get reset if you pull the guy back in again. So anyway, in ID 8 should be the arms. Let's see, ID 8 is there, and the gums are there right now. So where's the arms? Forearms are way down here. And I got to go all the way up to 8. Well, I cannot click and drag because this won't scroll. So I'm going to actually temporarily use these two slots to hold these. So I'm going to drag the forearms up here and copy it in there. Okay. And go back to my multi-material. And then I want to go back up to 8 because that's what I'm going to erase or change. And the gums, I don't want to lose them. So now if you lose anything, they're always back here in the original material from the FBX. That's the whole reason we pulled in the FBX, so we could get these materials. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my material here in number 8. Number 8, I want my forearm. Here's my forearm, so I'm going to click and drag them, copy it, and then wherever the forearm was before, I want to take my other one and just do this, just so it's still in my area, all my materials. I'm going to delete those, go back to my multi-material, and now my forearms are there. Okay, now I do the same thing here with the hands. It's number 10. Okay, so I'm not going to do this. It's just, you just got to know and kind of play around and see which ones they are. So hands right there. So I'd have to put this up into 11. This should be pretty boring by now. Hands, swap to 11. Oops, now I copied. I didn't want to do that. I want to actually hands up to 11. I want to swap them. Okay, so there you go. And then you do the same for the fingernails. You do the same for the hips here. That's what they call them. The legs, the feet, the toenails. I won't waste your time. Here, this is just, these are polygons that look like they're out in space, but it probably is the material that's being applied to it right now has an opacity channel, so it's probably the eyelashes. So let's go see, or something to do in the eyes. So let's go see if the neck, which should be in channel 18, something else. Yeah, cornea. See? And it's got all that translucency or transparency to it. So the neck should actually be there. And the moment you put the neck in there, and there it is right there, into slot 18, you just swap them. Okay, there you go. So now whatever's in 20 is going to have a little more effect to it. So here's the ears. You can see there's polygons hanging out here and nowhere, and that's ID 2. So that's where the ears should go, but it's down here in 18. So I'm just going to this last one here, I'm just going to do this quick little swap just to show you this again. Go back to the multi-material, go back up to 2. The eye reflection is there, and that's why it's probably mostly transparent. So now I want to swap them there. Now my ears will come back, and now where my ears were down here, I want to make sure I put that back there, even if that's not what's supposed to be there. Okay, and it's not, because you can see my lips went dark. So whatever's, the lips are obviously supposed to be a 19, and we'll just do that, or 17 I mean. Sure enough, 17 is supposed to be where the lips are. And again, I'm going to delete these now that we don't need those. 17 is where the lips are. Where are the lips? Let's just do this last one. Lips, 17. Ah, so close. Anyway, you got the point. So the face would go here, and then you're dealing mostly with the eyes. Now I don't have this opened up I guess I could kind of get the teeth here. So in 17, the teeth should go. Maybe we can get those on the screen at one time. Yes. So teeth go in 17. Swap them. So now we get our lips. And that's just all you do. That's all you do to get this. And with the eyelashes too, there was one weird thing with that. The eyelashes are supposed to be in 4. And I don't see them. Eyelashes are way down here. Okay, so copy this up there. Now, if anybody comes up with a better idea of transferring these things over, man, please speak up, because this is the most drudgerous experience. Okay, so in 4 is supposed to go. Oops, no, dang it. In 4 it was supposed to go. Okay, there we go. Now, but if I render this, you'll see that they're white. So, and you can see that too, that the transparency just is not working correctly. Something's goofy with these, because you actually see part of the other material there that is supposed to be transparent. So let me just go in and look. The eyelashes right here. So here I'm in the eyelashes. Here's the diffuse, and then there should be an opacity map here. Yeah. And you can tell by the O at the end of M5 Philip Lashes O. That's the opacity map. But if you go into the diffuse color here, you can actually just do a little trick. You just invert the color, and then you can even make them thicker if you want. But I'll just invert it and show you what that does. See how they're a little darker now? If you just bump this up a little bit, start coming out more black. Okay, a little thicker. So that's how you can play around with that. There's probably a better way of doing it. Again, I'm not a 3D person. I just know enough to be a little dangerous, that's all. So that's how you go about doing it. Now again, the eyes, just a burden, just to show you what a pain they are. See, now we added some of the opacity channels into the hands, so that's again why those disappeared. So you just got to monkey around with that until you get them all set. But watch what happens here. I'm going to get out of that other mode that I was in and come over here and add an edit poly to this whole thing. And this is kind of how you can kind of figure this out. So if you add an edit poly and then you go into the element mode, you can actually start drawing out the different parts of the eyeball. So watch this. So there's a part. Okay, now it disappears. It's still there. Just so don't let that confuse you. There's another part. Okay. There's another part. And there's there's even another part there. That's the actual pupil, and then there's a small little part right in there. So those are all your pieces of the eyeball. And then what makes it even more fun is that this one actually has two different, this one here has two different IDs to it. So if I actually deselect and go into the polygon selection mode, it actually has, why is the whole thing disappearing from me? Oh no, this one is the one that has the two material IDs. See, 14 and 11. So the material ID there is transparent and the material ID there is not. So this is just one of them, and material ID 9, that's material ID 5, material ID 4. So annoying as all get out, trying to get these right, trying to select them is the hard thing. Because when they're all on top of one another, it's harder to select them, right? So anyway, I was able to do it just by putzing around with it, but there's no way I'm doing that in a YouTube video, because it just, by the time I get it, I'll be pulling my hair out because I kind of lucked out the first time. But anyway, those are the objects that you need. So what I would do is I'd suggest writing them down, the material IDs, and also with the what you think the name is. Okay, and how you could tell the name is just go back to the original ID here, right? The FBX, and you select this outer part, and you go, that's material ID 14. Okay, what's in slot 14? Well, then that's the sclera. So this whole thing here is the sclera. Okay, the clear part of it, however, is 11. That's the cornea. Now the one over here, this is number 2. So that is the eye reflection. And then this thing here is 9, so that's the iris. This thing here is 5, that's the pupils. And this thing here is the lacrimal, 4, okay, lacrimals. So that's how you can kind of figure it out. So you write those down, you write the names down with the object, and then you got to go over here and try to map what they are in this eyeball when it looks like that. Okay, now you kind of can by just hovering over it, and while you're in this polygon mode, you can actually just keep it in one spot. Now watch the IDs go. The IDs down here change as I click. So and I don't move the mouse. So it's click, click again. Let me do it again. 1. So 3, 1, 21, 11, back to 3. So I was able to get through almost all of them there. If I'm out here, it might be a little different. 3, 22, 14, 11, back to 3. So you're kind of guessing the layers here. Maybe somebody else has a better way of doing it, hopefully so. But I was able to get it in my other one, and so instead of keeping working on this one, and you'll see this renders actually quite nicely. See, that's got too much specularity for me, but that's just going in here and playing with the settings. Again, if they didn't have so many maps, or if the Alembic file allowed you to transport them, you know, from FBX to, or from Daz3d, sorry, to 3dsMax would be better. But anyway, so if I go back to the file that I did and finished, and we go back to where we were, I had erased the FBX file. I got rid of all the poly. I want to get rid of all of them. It just goes too slow otherwise. And yeah, I didn't have it on the shoes. So that's how that works. And you can see this works fairly quickly. In that material now, I have it laid out a little differently here, but what I can do is I can save these. And so if I pull this in again, so let me just start off with a clean, fresh file here. So if I pull in the Alembic file again, and then just go up to my material editor and pull in my saved, okay, so here's multi-material, so here's the skin. Okay, I should be able to just click and drag and drop it on. Well, I really want to deselect this. Now, see, now it already works, and I didn't have to do any more work. So if I change my Alembic file, I just port it in here, and I can just add these right away. So here I would have pulled in, and I would have gotten from my saved materials the shirt ABC. There we go. See, that's the whole point of doing all that work. Pants ABC, and then the shoes. Anyway, you got the point. And then if I just come in here and hit the render, it all looks good. Okay, so that's the whole point of doing this video. And he did it in 16 minutes. Took me 28, but I'm also covering a few other different topics here as well. And I suggest watching his video and definitely giving him kudos, because he helped me. He helped me tremendously, and I just whatever Autodesk is doing with having these people help is just incredible. So thank you, Alfred. You saved me a lot of time, a lot of effort, and I thought I'd share what you taught me with the rest of the world. So I hope that helps. I hope that works. And if you have any questions on that, I'm really not the person to ask. Maybe you could contact Autodesk, or you're welcome to ask me. I just probably not going to be able to help a whole lot, because 3D is not my thing. I'm actually a chiropractor, and I do these animations for medical illustrative purposes. So anyway, but if you have some simple questions, I might be able to answer them. Anyway, thank you for watching, and have a good day.